it doesn't look like you were heard about what you were diagnosing. I think we must have to upgrade the diagnosis and borrow from the ideological toolkit of Frantz Fanon. We may be dealing with psychosis, whose symptoms are delusions, illusions, because Zakes Mda, when he writes DP, he knows that he's writing fiction. But our candidate tonight truly believes in the delusions that he gives us. 1 million houses in Alex. He believes that. It's a proper belief. And Fanon teaches us about cognitive dissonance. That when you tell such a person who suffers from these symptoms the truth, they hold on so much to their core belief, they become agitated, uncomfortable. If you tell him now that he's wearing a blue tie, he may tell you he's convinced that he's not even dressed. Just today, after being warned of delusions, he comes to this platform and says, unsafe toilets have been replaced in 92% of schools needing safe toilets. The remaining 280 schools are scheduled for completion within this financial year. But the report of the Basic Education Department titled Education Facility Management System Report, published 3 July 2024, says there are 1,770 pit toilets, schools with pit toilets. 280, 1,770. This is not a candidate of fiction. We have passed the stage of fiction, and we are dealing with mental illness. That is why those who come here to defend him are going to be resolved by a country that produces the things that it consumes. And therefore, you've got to centralize industrialization, which at the moment it's not happening. For an example, the public procurement bill does not align at all with industrialization. There is no mention of leveraging state procurement budget direct to re-industrialization. Instead, the bill seeks to place measures to address professional ethics, pricing issues, accountability, and transparency. You should use your buying capacity as the state to buy locally manufactured goods just from your procurement budget alone. That is not there. The Black Industrialist Program is actually the greatest and tragic joke on black people. In 2022, we received a report that there was an allocation of 36 billion rands for 1,000 black industrialists. If you take these figures at a nominal value, you are looking at 37 million rands per so-called black industrialist. Ford invested 12 billion, of which 4.5 was a government incentive test scheme benefit. To construct the Silverton plant in Pretoria, Toyota received 2.6 billion. 2.6 billion. And black people are expected to industrialize with 37 million. You see the joke there. The IDC was at the center of apartheid state-led development. It not only was creating companies like Sasol. Look at the industrial scale of Sasol. Perhaps there is a lack of understanding of what true industry is. The IDC was at the center of the creation of Sasol, was at the center of the creation and growth of ISCO. But since 1994, show me a single industry that the IDC started with the scale of ISCO, with the scale of Sasol. Your chronic levels of unemployment can only be resolved by a bold step, such as using the IDC within the Department of Trade and Industry to create large-scale industrial projects the size of Sasol and ISCO. But also, when you're talking about investments and markets, the BRICS countries are where you should go. Your relationship with the West has been the most crippling economically. The West only wants your minerals. The West only wants you to consume its finished products. Even the market, consumer market of over 1.2 billion people in the continent of Africa, they still get products from their former colonizers. But China is the one that is developing. In the last 20 years, they are responsible for large-scale infrastructure projects across the world. They are the ones that are building the biggest, most sophisticated infrastructure projects than anyone else. So if you want to industrialize, you've got to look to the BRICS countries. You've got to go to China and literally request build, operate, and transfer projects. So if you want to build a train from Durban to Musina, Mr. President, perhaps you do not enter into the delusion of repeating the same thing that you've been doing over the last 30 years as the ANC. Go to China. The people of China will build a speed train in less than a year, and then it will occur from Durban to Musina. The industrialization project must also be at the center of the competition laws. For an example, competition laws are not the instrument of transformation. Even when they are in place, price fixing, collusion, market power abuse, price discrimination, and monopoly industries continue. When the Competition Commission makes findings, the Finance Minister has the power to overrule them. When the Competition Commission identified that the private sector health market was abusing its power through price fixing and monopolization, nothing happened to them. That tells you the power of these industries. If you want to heal, Mr. President, from this emerging mental condition within the GNU, perhaps you must come back tomorrow with a concrete admission that business cannot be usual. Otherwise, we will interrogate and scrutinize the state of your mind to the end. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Madam